Today I will share one real experience that shows how cleverly the GST laws are designed. Recently a client approached me. He got a notice from GST department saying you have utilized 100% of your input tax credit to pay the GST liability. The notice says you have to pay 1% of GST in cash and also interest and penalty is being levied on the client. So he was genuinely confused. He told me, sir, all my input tax credits are eligible and it is also reflecting in my GSTR 2B. So why the government is forcing me to pay 1% GST in cash when the ITC is available? So I told him there is a rule 86B of GST law which says that whenever the taxable turnover exceeds 50 lakh in a month, then you cannot use 100% of your input tax credit to pay the GST liability. 1% you have to pay in cash. But there are some exceptions to this rule. Like you have a strong compliance history. In past, you have taken input tax credit refund, things like that. But broadly, this is the rule. Then he asked me, sir, is this fair? When I have a genuine purchase, I have a genuine sales, then why the hell government is asking me to pay in cash when I have the input tax credit? So I asked him one simple question. You purchase goods by paying GST. Now that GST you can take as input tax credit. No one is stopping you. So on the cost, you add margin and sell it, right? So on the sales price, you have to collect the GST. Now whatever GST you have collected, you will adjust against the input tax credit which is available to you. But tell me, for the margin, you should have ideally paid GST in cash. Now you tell me, who will do business without having margin? So I told him, these provisions are not to trouble the good and genuine business. These are anti-tax evasion provisions. Yes, sometimes there are exceptions to the norm, like stockpiling up. And law genuinely provides an opportunity to represent the case before the commissioner or his authorized officer to remove this restriction. Now, after all this, I asked him to explain, how did you get this much of input tax credit? You have not paid anything in cash. So he kept quiet for some time and told me, sir, I do two types of sales. One I collect in bank and one I collect in cash. Now, whatever I collect in cash, I don't pay GST. So the input tax credit was more than the GST liability on my bank sales. That's why the input tax credit was more. Then I told him, this rule is exactly meant for this situation. So now you understand, Rule 86B is not anti-business, it is an anti-suppression law.